Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to your February forecast. I hope that everyone is doing very well. And as I was looking at the chat room, I can see we have people from all over the world. So I just want to say thank you. I know that for each of you, this is a different time of day. And whether you're watching it live or watching it on the replay, know that you're going to get some really good information today. And it means the world that you were able to show up here. I'm going to put this little guy down, but Apollo wanted to say hi at the beginning. I know a lot of you like to see him. So that's my little Zen teacher there as well. And today is going to be a really impactful reading. As I was sitting here and meditating, I felt a really big opening within the heart. And it wasn't just the heart, it was a deeper part of the soul, the inner child, the past. And I'm going to talk about that when we get into the channeled message in a moment. And as I've been chatting with some of you here before we went live, I said that I also want to work on rebirthing a little bit and taking pieces of ourselves maybe that we've lost or forgotten and kind of mend that piece of our past and bring it into the future so we can get back into ourselves. So I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but we'll talk more about that in just a moment. First, I just want to say welcome to all the familiar faces that I'm seeing here in chat, everybody that's been supporting me for the past few years. And if you're brand new, welcome. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh, and every month I organize the reading into a few parts. I'm going to talk about that right now, and then we'll get started in just a second. I begin with channeled information. As you can tell, I show up a little bit early. I begin to meditate, and I receive information just intuitively that I want to share. So I begin the reading with that. And then after that, we'll get into a Celtic Cross to see what's coming through as far as high points, challenges, and all the opportunities in between. And that's going to be your roadmap for the month ahead. I go a little deeper into that after we take a look at that to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. And these are sort of lenses that I can put on top of the spread to get some additional insight in the month ahead. And again, this is for February. If you want to look at January, they're live on the site right now, those readings. And Ryan and Maria will post a link periodically so you can figure out where to see all of that. I'm doing them all a month ahead now, or really 2 to 3 weeks because we're at the half point of the month. So that gives you a lot of time to be able to look between what's going on right now and what's about to happen. So I'm trying to give you more information. And I think so far people have enjoyed the new format. You can always use this, by the way, for sun, rising, and moon. And I laughed a little bit when I saw what, some of you are looking for loved ones. Some of you might be looking for a boss or someone that's giving you a tough time in your life. Whomever it is for, just know that this will be a really impactful and very important reading. So I'm glad you made it today. So with that being said, let's get into the reading. By the way, one last thing I'd like to touch on, because we're doing this live, occasionally you'll hear city noises and other things, but there's also live interaction. So if you like what you see, one way you can show some love is by using a super chat or super sticker. And this is just a way to sort of say that you appreciate what you're seeing here. And it's completely optional. There's other ways that you can show support, and I'll talk about that at the end. That's everything from, of course, liking and subscribing to becoming a patron or booking an appointment. But this is an easy way, and it's something that I love about being able to show up live. So I'll let my moderators put the link out there or talk about that. And now let's begin to get into the information for February for you. So the main thing that I started to see when I was meditating was it was almost as if as I tune into the heart space, I could kind of see like the image of a child sort of superimposed upon that. And for me, that meant like your heart's true desires, or maybe something that was beginning to take shape or take form. And what I wrote down was, you need to feed that inner child with a sense of unconditional love and joy. And that for some of you, this particular month and year, since we're so much at the beginning of this, it's kind of like a zygote of a year even, or a seed of a year, that this could be a chance for you to kind of have a breakthrough, a rebirth or a reinvention phase to your life. So I wrote all of that down here in case it helps to see it. And by the way, thank you so much. I'll thank everyone after the videos live. I'll put a special thank you for anyone that does a super chat, but I'm already seeing some, so thank you so much. So again, I think the key phrase here, and I wrote it last, is unconditional love. And for some of you, this could be because parents and friends and, people in authority, oftentimes they want to do the best for us and they hope for the best for us. But sometimes when we don't match their expectations, let's say you love someone that doesn't fit the mold of who your parents thought you would love and end up getting married to, or the work that you do in your life isn't what they were hoping. Maybe they wanted you to do something that had more prestige, or, you know, whatever it is, something about yourself, it's true to you, but somehow it confronts one of their fears or areas of discomfort, or it just doesn't sort of align with what they thought you should be. That's when the condition is put on, and it makes you question yourself, like, am I enough? Is this okay? Can I do this? And then we start to hide pieces of ourselves or turn off pieces of that true self, that true life path. So today, as we do the meditation later, I'll look at areas where you can go back and rekindle that inner child that may not have been supported the way she or he should have been. And today, hopefully, I can get you on that path of being able to really do what you want to do and touch the world in the way that you need to, and make that sort of imprint before you leave this planet. That's really why we're here each and every month. So another thing, I was talking to a relative about this earlier. Joy is so important to being successful and to also making progress in your life. So we are so practical sometimes and work so hard to accomplish, you know, certain goals that we forget to just be present, to have fun, to relax a little bit. And I think one piece of advice that I would have is fun is essential. You should have things in your life that bring you a sense of fulfillment, joy, elation, and sometimes just being present or letting things set in or sink in. It's really important to the spiritual growth process too, because we have to be able to sort of like make sense of everything that we've experienced. Otherwise, it's like you're constantly sprinting through life. So it's okay to relax a little bit. It's okay to have fun. It's okay to do something just for you. And especially right now, I think it's really important to get back to something that you loved as a child, but maybe walked away from because of a lack of support. So that was the message that came through, is to love your inner self, that younger version of you. And in the meditation today, we'll go back and support that inner child or that younger version and bring forward the power, the energy, and the wisdom that you had when you came into the planet and had to kind of leave behind because maybe people around you, again, couldn't support you or didn't know how, if that makes sense. So let's go ahead now and jump into the Celtic Cross. I like to remain quiet while I pull out the cards in front of me. But right after this, I'm going to explain each and every card and help you navigate through how it's going to connect with February. And yes, we have Apollo in the background providing a little bit of solace as he sleeps through this reading. He keeps me grounded and keeps me in a very happy place all the time. So that's why I try to bring him into the reading so he can heal you as well. Let's begin with the Catalyst card. And for me, the Catalyst is a way to connect to how to be successful in the month, the highest possible energy. Also, sometimes to avoid certain things or begin things. So it's basically when and where you need to pay attention to certain aspects of your month ahead here. And we have understanding. And if you notice here, it's almost as if for many of you, there's been an opening. This is a bird getting out of a cage, escaping something that it no longer needs, it no longer wants, a past that really wasn't something that it wanted to experience, but looking forward to the future, to freedom, this is kind of like the other end of the World card. If you were looking at like the Fool or something like this is that chance to step into something new. And so I'm going to try to help you see all the beautiful birds above, but there's a little bit of hesitation with this. There's a sense of, can I do this? Is the time right? Do I have permission? Because when you're caged, when you're blocked, when you're feeling like there's something that you can't have, one of the crazy things that you have to undo in your head is, even though it makes sense, there's a sort of like energetic cord that's pulling you back, saying, no, you're not ready, you're not deserving. And so one of the messages I want to share from Spirit is, we all deserve to be happy. Joy and love, unconditional love, is a divine gift and a divine right. There are people in our life, again, sometimes, that don't understand that. And I think what we're looking at for many of you is kind of cutting cords that have like conditions, conditional love. We need to have more unconditional love, more opportunities. And this month, more than any month, you have this opportunity to evolve and become the person you're supposed to be. Step into your truth, because after this, you can spread your wings. You can do something new. So that's why I get the energy of the world with that expansion, and also traveling and moving forward and moving on from something. So hopefully that makes sense. Let's move to the center. And I have a really cool, this deck was gifted to me. I'm going to, by the way, I get questions all the time about the decks that I'm using. I'll spend some time this month and update all of them. I do have this listed on my site, so you can just go to my website and it says decks I use and it'll be there. And I think this one is Revelations. Okay, that being said, we have the Ace of Pentacles. I love this deck because every card has two sides, which is so true. And this is why I read reversal. So this one, you won't see it as much, but other ones, you're going to see the people on both sides. So I'll be able to kind of tell you both sides of the coin. The cool thing about the ace is, as we can see, a coin is a coin, whether it's upright or reversed. I would say the thing that you want to be looking at is, are you ready to give or receive an opportunity in your life? Because the choice is there, the opportunity is there. And there are certain cards in tarot that I see as kind of universally good. It's just like the Four of Wands is one where no matter what, it usually is good. For me, an ace card normally has really positive connotations. When it's reversed, the main thing that I'm getting today is, are you ready? That's what I hear in my head. Are you ready for the opportunity? Are you ready to change? Do you feel that sense of self-worth? And are you feeling what you're doing? Because you have everything that it takes to be successful, to do what's necessary in your life, but are you going after it? Because typically the ace in the Rider-Waite-Smith tradition, it's all of the aces have a hand. So it's like the universe stepping in, or it can be you reaching for something. And so are you ready? Because that hand is there. The universe wants to pull you forward. So I feel like it's just a matter of taking a step, sending an email, picking up the phone, going out the front door, something, just taking that first risk or that jump or that leap of faith. If you're looking for work, could be a new work opportunity. If you've been in a relationship for a while, there could be a surprise proposal or offer that's coming through as well. The reversal can be a surprise. So we have now the Four of Pentacles. Because it's crossing, it's neither upright or reversed. And for me, Four of Pentacles is foundational, but it can also be about a closed off heart sometimes, or not being completely connected with how much you can offer something. So if you're in a place of negotiation, whether you're negotiating a sale of a house or a product or a service, or you're trying to get a new job, or you're at an existing job and you're trying to get ahead, you have to see that worth before you go into a discussion of negotiation. If you're trying to do something that you love in your life, and you're afraid to do it because, again, you don't think you have permission, that's the other thing. So breaking down fear, increasing self-worth, that's going to open up the doors of possibility this month, because you have a lot of potential at the center. Foundational with the Four of Pentacles, and that opportunity with the ace. So I think some really good stuff is right under the surface, because many of you are watching this way ahead of the next month. You're going to have a chance to break through what we're talking about here. deep past, we have 8 of Pentacles. The 8 of Pentacles is reversed. And the interesting thing on this particular 8, you'll notice on the reversal, we see the person perfecting their craft or working on themselves. If the card was upright, you would see the person getting ready to kind of like push that out, or maybe they're looking at something new coming in. So I think for many of you, there was this sense that I still have to work on myself. I have a lot to figure out, a lot to know. And so there was some inner work that you've been deciding to do. So that could include school, therapy, reading up on a particular topic, simply trying to get out and understand who you are. So even just intuitive development where you're meditating and you're trying to just kind of push the needle forward a little bit. I always love the 8 of Pentacles because the investment will come back. And the question now is, when is enough enough? And we all know people in our life that might have like 4 degrees or something. At a certain point, I feel like you've got what you need. And that's what this card is saying. You don't have to go to any more school, or if you've gone to school, that's good. Now just focus on finishing it. Don't take on anything else. Finish what it was that you need to finish, and then get started on the next thing, or give yourself permission to take that leap of faith. 5 of Wands reversed. This is about motivation a lot of times. When I see the 5 of Wands, it shows me that you're busy, and the 5 of Wands in reverse can show sometimes that it's difficult to understand maybe how or why you got into the current system that you're in. So if it's a job, you could be there for like 5 years and all of a sudden think, I'm not feeling motivated except for the paycheck, or I know I'm doing a good job, but I just don't feel it. So this is about getting real with your heart and thinking, do I need to go and put myself out for something more challenging? Should I try to find something else in my life? Because I said earlier, to find joy or happiness that doesn't have to relate to something practical. Maybe you want to decide to learn how to dance or sing, or take on some sort of artistic expression. Do something fun for yourself. There needs to be more joy, because all I've seen so far is practical energy. Ace of Pentacles, 4 of Pentacles, 8 of Pentacles, 5 of Wands. That's too much work. That's too much focus. That's too much development. And if you only do that, then where's the motivation? Where's the joy? Where's the celebration of how far you've come? And that's rhetorical. It's not there. So find a place to kind of insert that a little bit. And if you think of kind of, for any of you that hike, right, or do any sort of exercise in general, but I would say hiking especially, if you climb up a hill or a mountain and you look at how far you have to go, it can be daunting. But if you just kind of pay attention, keep pushing, and then all of a sudden take a break and look how far you've come, there's that moment of thinking, wow, I can't believe how far I've made it. And that's not so bad. Like, this was much more difficult than what's ahead of me. And I think if you could take a moment this month to get some perspective and celebrate, and I'm going to write that down as well for the meditation, because I think that's a helpful metaphor, is to kind of look at the path that you're on, and celebrate the progress. We all have these sort of, again, I think we're trained by society to constantly push, and not be able to sort of appreciate where we're at. So gratitude will help quite a bit. I see so much growth and opportunity happening for many of you this month. We have the 10 of Pentacles in the crowning position. So that's why I think it's okay to be satisfied and happy and not push yourself so hard, because you're going to have a breakthrough, many of you. It's hard to see because the light's a little bit bright, but the 10 of Pentacles is upright. And for me, the 10 of Pentacles can indicate not just money. This is a card of success. Like, you could, for some of you, if you've been trying to successfully work on a relationship, this can indicate like marital bliss or good partnership. For those of you that might be in a business relationship and you've been through your ups and downs, I think the work's going to pay off here. For those of you that, again, are wanting to fix something. If you've been looking for love and something, or looking to find a partner in business, I'm seeing that come through too. And it could come through in an unexpected place. That the ace was reversed. This is why it's important to get out, to do social things, to have a good time, because there is a little aspect of that as well. If you're too narrow-sighted or narrow-minded in what you're doing, you're going to miss out on great connections, great opportunities all around you. For business, this bodes well. This shows that you're in a period of growth and expansion. And I think what's important is priorities. When I see all of these really practical cards and a lot of resources here, is like, how do I spend it? What do I do with this? Am I happy with this? It's unusual to see so much earth energy for you in a particular reading, but I think that means that many of you can, if you put your passion into something this month, especially, amazing things can happen. So I'm not seeing you getting in the way of anything so far. We're going to look at the next few cards here and see what's coming through, though. So Four of Cups in the near future. For me, this is a card that really is about understanding what you have and not necessarily trying to compare yourself to others, because that can be a kind of like a rabbit hole or a slippery slope, pardon me, because we never know how far someone has come or how hard they've worked to get what's in their life. And we also don't know exactly how happy they are, even if in the day now of social media and imagery in general, a lot of that's kind of composed and projected. We don't know how much that's real. So someone may look really happy, they may have all the status, they may have a lot of money, but they may be in a much more sort of precarious or unhappy situation than you are. And you may be feeling like, gosh, I'm still building this up. Why is it taking so long? Whether it's your marriage or relationship, or you're working on yourself and trying to get a degree, whatever it is you're trying to do, you're just fine. That's what the Four of Cups is saying. In fact, there could be something completely different from what you thought you needed or wanted that's there. The universe is giving you another option. And it could also have been that little window of the past that I was picking up on in the channeled message that you forgot about. And because you've turned it off, you may think, I can't do it anymore, or that doesn't exist, or that space or that part of me I can't access, but you can. So this is about perspective. It could just as well be someone looking in one window and something going on in the other, and they're missing it because their attention is in the wrong space. So be present, be grateful, and be a little bit, I would say, take a risk. So be willing to put yourself out there, because the Four of Cups can sometimes hold you down because of a lack of imagination, perspective, or kind of like that fool energy, just going and thinking, who cares? I'm not going to take myself so seriously. And this is good, and I can do this, and I don't care what people think. I think having that ability to like let it all go is going to be really, really key. As we look at your ego this month, we actually have the moon. And I saw earlier, many of you might be watching for your moon sign, for like a Scorpio moon. So the moon is that part of yourself that you don't let everybody see, right? So I'm going to break it down in a high level. Ascendant or rising is usually something that's going to help you in work and business. It's what you're projecting out. I was talking about projection, but it is also like interactions and kind of like professional concepts. The sun sign kind of covers everything. That's basically who you are. It helps you navigate. But the moon is the hidden piece of you, which can show desires, fears, hopes, the personal work that you need to do, the stuff that you don't want anybody to see, and also the most powerful pieces of yourself, your intuition, your creativity, your passion. So with you, that's what's coming through this month. That's where your power is. So the things that you're afraid to share or to show could actually be the most important things, because people need and want to hear that message or want to connect with that part of you. And you're going to be able to, for some of you, successfully capitalize on something. So if you're an artist, for instance, if we think of great music, it's sometimes the most raw and pared back. It's not the most produced, right? When you can hear the voice, when you can feel like you're right there with the performer, there's something very intimate about that. And with this, there's the same sort of thing. Don't be afraid to show that and explore it and ride that wave as we see all of this beautiful energy here. The other thing is, once you've overcome your fears, then the powerful pieces of the moon card exist, which are intuition. And when I think of the moon, just symbolically, the earth would not nearly be as beautiful a place without the moon, not just because of its beauty in the sky, but actually it helps shape the surface of the planet. It moves the tides. It creates that cycle of weather, of death and rebirth, and kind of keeping things moving. So the moon in your life this month is showing that you're ready now you can move things forward with you. It's like Artemis, right? She pulls the tide. So if you can believe in it, if you can kind of go with your passion, if you can get people to come along, you're going to be a very powerful leader and a very impactful speaker, and you're going to make some great waves in this month, professionally and also even personally, because we haven't really gotten any negative cards, and I don't see them here, by the way. So I think that the only things that are popping up are timing, fear, holding back, maybe losing perspective. Otherwise, I see a lot of breakthroughs. And maybe for some of you, there could actually be some competing opportunities, and you're going to have to be very picky, very discerning about how to spend your time and energy. In your environment, we have a pretty big personality coming through, the Queen of Pentacles. This to me can represent not just a person, but like house, home, and a really big opportunity on the horizon. It's a very fertile card. It's a great card for development, a great card for business. And for those of you that are trying to have a baby, the fact that I have the moon and this sort of like quintessential mother card bodes very, very well. Also, the 10 of Pentacles bodes very well. And right above it, I have the Fool. So if you're not trying to have a baby, be careful. It cuts both ways. So there's a chance for fertility, but the fertility can be in like 3 different areas of your life: business, relationships, and also quite literally expanding your family or expanding your friend group. But I see more than one, like more coming in, growth, which is great. One thing that's really important as I look at all of these people with the coins, all the hands on the coins, is to know when to let go. I keep getting that message. So I think for those of you that might have spent a lot of time crafting something, whether it's building a house, building a business, building a name, there's a point at which you have to sort of like let go a little bit and just sort of freely move through the next phase. Because sometimes the Queen cards can be a little bit clingy. So this one is not reversed. I think that you're going to be able to navigate just fine, but she's in your environment. So it can be an aspect of you, or it can be someone in your life. And that's why I wanted to highlight that. If it's someone in your life, a sister, a boss, a mentor, or a friend, and they're constantly trying to nurture you, help you, move you, there comes a point where that can kind of encroach on your ability to develop yourself. And that can cause hesitation, doubt, uncertainty. So sometimes even the most well-intentioned person can kind of get in the way, and then that becomes unhealthy. So for you, I think good limits are going to be important. Deciding to maybe, before you go and ask for help, or even before you listen to the advice, to just think, what do I want to do? And even after you receive it, does that fit within your compass? In the opportunity place this month, which is going to include your hopes, your fears, and anything that could be coming through, there's a chance to move on. Now, the Fool can indicate a move, but unlike the 6 of Swords or the World card, it may not be as big as like having to leave your house or having to reinvent yourself. But there can sometimes be like a clean slate with this. So you could decide to, in your mind, that you've done everything that you needed to do on a certain path, but you take that the power to sort of decide like, all right, I'm going to do this when I want to do it. So I feel like some of you are playing around with if, how, and when to make that big next bold move. What I like about those of you that are in that court is that you have some decent resources at your disposal, and it really is just about when you're willing to share something, when you feel good about it. And I think that any sort of delivery or any sort of message, the key thing is that you are passionate, excited, and okay with letting it go. So that's one thing that many of you have to work on. By the way, if you are starting to try to start a family or get pregnant, the Fool card is also about getting back to the whole reason that you were doing that, which is that you love each other, and that it should be more about just having fun and less about trying to have a baby. I know that doesn't, it makes sense, but it doesn't, because when you let go, everything in your life, this is manifesting, right? And we're going to talk about manifestation at the end of this reading. You need to kind of make room and space and intention for what you want, and then just release a little bit. That detachment is key, because if you hold on too tightly to anything, then it's hard to get the job. It's hard to get that person to notice you. It's hard to make something grow. So don't hold on too tight. It's kind of what I'm getting in my mind is like a roller coaster, and at a certain point you can kind of let go. So there are going to be points when you need to hold on, but I feel like many of you are ready to put your hands up, let go, and enjoy the ride. The outcome card is the Empress. So many cards of growth, nurturing, a lot of maternal energy coming through this month. That's why I wanted this to focus on rebirthing in the meditation. So I can't wait to talk to you about that. So with the Empress card, if we take away the card, like if we're not going to talk about being a mother, let's just talk about what this is in everybody's life. This is about making sure that you are the one driving your vehicle, your ship, your boat, your plane. You're directing it. You're the captain. So if you've lived a lot of your life supporting people around you, if you've been a great parent, a healer, a teacher, a light worker, doing something to try to open up other people in your life, the energy of February is going to be really valuable for you to take a time out to clean up your house, your both your literal house and also the house around you. Like who's your friends? What are you doing for a living? How are you spending your money? Get everything cleaned up and in order, and make sure that you're happy with the way it looks. And if there's something that you want to work on, know that with the power of the Empress, with the power of Queen of Pentacles, with the energy of Artemis, the moon, you can create, shift, mold, change your life in ways that you may have even forgotten that you could do. Other people see your power, but maybe you've forgotten your power. And this month is about reclamation, about finding that divine feminine. We all have it, men and women. Unfortunately, we've gotten to a point where we forget that we're supposed to balance it out. So for the men that are watching, your divine feminine energy can be balanced this month. You can get in touch with the sensitive side of your life, of the nurturing side of your life, of being able to be kind, to be open, to kind of take care of yourself, to love yourself. And for women, you can also be the powerful divine feminine, which is the Empress, which is the Queen, which can move mountains, as I said, with like Artemis. So I feel like whatever side of the coin you're on, there's a lot of creative energy and a lot of momentum, but it should be put on you, and you should be changing yourself, your life, and things that you want, so that by law of attraction, you become that which you seek. So if you want someone in your life that's healthy, that's happy, that's unattached, that really wants whatever it is that you're trying to create, do all of that within so that you're starting to pull that same energy. So self-development is key. I think some of you have already kicked it off. And so it's either just continue on that path, give yourself permission. And then I think for many of you, think about what phase 2 is, or 3, or whatever phase you're on. There's a chance to kind of really spread your wings and do what you want to do. Not that you haven't been up until now, but I feel like you could have limited yourself a little bit. So really let your mind wander and think, what is it that I would do if, I didn't have the responsibility of family, or I didn't have this student loan debt, or this mortgage, or whatever it is. And you will find a way to make all of this work, because with all these resource cards, you either know people, you're creative, or you're going to open up a new channel that people hadn't thought about and be able to kind of pull that energy in there. You have to believe that so that you can manifest. If you believe to yourself, by the way, I'm not successful, I have bad luck, nobody ever pays me what I'm worth, I'm never going to find love, all of that, then you start to fulfill those prophecies. So don't think that way. And we'll talk about that in the meditation as well. While I'm reading, I have a pain in my third chakra, which is not my own. It's an energetic pain that kind of came in as I was talking about that. So I do think for some of you, these mother cards can have to do with your mom, or if you were adopted, your adopted parents, or if you have two dads, whatever, whoever your key parental figure is. I feel like there's something that needs to be healed with the parent. So we'll do that in the meditation as well. I just want to allow you to separate a little bit, if you need to, from any sort of maternal energy. Let's get some additional insight in this. We're going to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. Starting with health, all of these are multifaceted, as you know. Health is mind, body, and spirit. And it's about vigilance here. It says stone people, and we see these stone statues here, and then vigilance. With the card in reverse, what I actually get with this is that your persistence is going to be able to wear people down around you. So if there's someone in your life that is closed-minded, that you haven't had luck getting through to before, just like the elements of rain, wind, weather, all of that stuff that kind of works at the rocks, eventually has its way. Your persistence and consistency and diligence in just being who you are will eventually, if people love you, if they're supposed to be there for you, they're going to see you. They're going to be able to accept that. You'll wear down the outer edges of their auric field and get to that heart space. That's part of this, is to not give up on what it is that you want to be or who you are, to be diligent, to be vigilant about that. The other thing is to try to move in your life a little bit. Like, I like that this is a grounded card, but it was reversed. So that is showing me, for many of you, it's a chance now to kind of like let go of the past, move on, have more movement overall. Since this is in health, it's not just about the emotional piece, it's also about being able to like get out there. And we see this with the Fool card. So the Fool card is gentle aerobic energy. So you could just go out and take a walk, you could hike, you could swim. But basically, moving your body is going to be really important, no matter what age, whether you're retired or whether you're in school. You need to kind of like move. That's going to move the energy around you as well. As I look at some other elements of what you might want to be focusing on with health, as I said, I felt a pain in the third chakra. So I would say working on core fitness this month would be good. So Pilates, anything that you can do to kind of yoga as well. Strengthening the core is going to help you, particularly with the relationship dynamics that we were talking about with a boss, a parent, or a maternal energy in your life. And I think those are the key pieces. I may get more when we do the review, but those are the primary pieces that I want to focus on at this point. Actually, there was one more with the Moon card. For those of you that are women and are having either difficulties getting pregnant or are noticing an irregular moon cycle, you absolutely want to get that looked at. That card relates to the female reproductive system and health. So if you're overdue for like an appointment with your OBGYN, get that taken care of. All right, let's look now at wealth. Wealth is not just money, but it's also about, are you happy doing what you're doing? I talked earlier about how it's interesting. I think when people are very, very successful, they connect their rising and their moon, because moon is that part of yourself that's passionate, that's kind of secretive, that you don't want people to see. But when you can show everyone else that you're like them and you can help them see parts of themselves that they didn't even know that they needed to see, then you actually achieve success. So I think really successful people aren't necessarily always in their sun. They're in their rising, and then they access their moon as much as they can. So I think that's one message that I want to touch upon, since we saw the Moon card there. And then the other piece that's coming through is you have to take care of this so that you can be successful. So we have nutrition, a health message actually popping up in wealth. It's not uncommon to see these two areas kind of flip-flop. And it's basically not just about literally what you're putting in your body, but it's about the environment. So do you feel healthy? Do you feel fulfilled and nourished by the environment that you're in? It says you conduct healing work with your culinary skills. I think this is actually more about your ability to work as a healer no matter where you're at. I also think that it's about what you put into your energy absolutely affects your ability to be happy, be successful, etc. So the message I received, because I read intuitively, not just with the card itself, is pay attention to the environment around you. Some of you are in a toxic work or home situation, and we saw that here with the understanding card. So it might just be an understanding of, this isn't all me. There's something more. That's something about the people around me, and you give yourself a chance to be free of that. The 10 of Pentacles can show a really tightly knit group. So for those of you that live in a conservative part of the world, or a family that really kind of like pulls you in and you can't get away, this is what it's about. They love you almost to death. Same thing with the work situation. They make you feel like they couldn't get along without you. And the truth of the matter is, they'll be just fine. This is the codependency, and you'll be just fine. But you have to kind of explore new things, and you have to feed your soul. And I think that's really what this is saying. Feed yourself, have some fun, do what matters. And then, of course, as we look at the two of these cards together, yes, take good care of your health. Make sure that when we're looking at toxicity, it's not just environmental, it's also what you're eating, what you're listening to, all of that. I talk about music a lot because I love music, but you want to make sure that who you're listening to on music, on television, etc., is not going to be something that is kind of like pulling you down into a lower frequencies. So I think that's a really important thing to just kind of think about there. So let's look now at love. Love is, for me, a frequency of the universe that we can all access. It's the currency of the universe. It's the one thing that we really take with us, that plus the lessons we've learned. So intellect and love, that goes with us in each and every incarnation. Money, status, title, that stuff fades away each and every life. That's why we kind of forget who we are. We have to come in without all of that ego. So chemistry is essential. It says there's a strong connection here, strong attraction. I saw that for many of you, you could be falling in love, or you could be signing a contract and going deeper into a relationship. So whether it's business or love, 10 of Pentacles often indicates that you're going to sign on the dotted line and say, I commit to this. I'm ready for the next step. So do it if you feel it. That's basically what this card is saying. The opportunity's there. Make sure you truly love the person and really want to go forward with that. But yeah, with the Ace of Pentacles, 10 of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, some great opportunities with building upon relationships, old and new. And healing is possible too. Even if you decide to kind of like walk away, the fact that we have that understanding card, it didn't show like a tower or anything. It just shows that you could open the door. It doesn't shut behind you. We don't see a cage. Like you actually took away the bars here. And then the Fool card to me always indicates that you can come and go. And with the 8 of Pentacles, much like the 8 of Cups, it's cyclical. So you could get a sabbatical from work if you wanted to, for instance. Or you could decide to take a few months off and explore something that you want to do in your life. So during this time, you could also discover the love of your life. I'm seeing a lot of overlap between health, wealth, and love this month. So doing what you love will help make you successful, will help make you healthier, will help make you happier. And it could also give you the chance to heal a relationship. So for those of you that, might be just needing to get back to the basics with someone, work a little bit less, spend a little bit more time together, that will help. But yes, there's an opportunity for kindling, rekindling, or attracting this month. That's what the chemistry card is showing. It's just like the magician, right? So whatever it is that you want to bring in, whether it's love or work, you can do it. So I love what we see in the Destiny card. Destiny, by the way, is not written in stone. We look at these in advance so you can have free will and you can affect what's coming through. The message in this, although reversed, is just showing that the sooner you get to this, the better. It says, decide to be happy now. And I think that's really, really key. A lot of times we think that, I remember actually when I was a kid, and I think I was maybe in high school, 11th or 12th grade, there was someone that said, I can't wait to retire because I have so much school ahead of me. And then I got to work, and then I got to make my parents happy. Then I have to have a family. And I thought, you're fast forwarding through your whole life and you're not even 20. What are you doing? Be happy now. Do what you want to do now. And so I think for all of us, tomorrow, we shouldn't be living for tomorrow. It could be too late. It may not come. It may be not what we expected. We should be enjoying something about today and something about the journey getting to tomorrow. And then maybe we think that whatever that is that we're trying to bring tomorrow can happen even sooner. And that's part of manifesting. So be very specific with the universe. Don't say, I want this soon. Soon could be 5 years in cosmic time. So say, I'm ready for it this year. I'm ready for it, within the next couple of months. And we'll work on that again when we meditate. So I'm going to put timing as one of the things here. So some really beautiful messages here. I want to pull the camera down for a second, and we're going to review everything that we talked about in the sort of general advice for February. Then we're going to move along to manifestation and this inner healing that I talked about, a chance to rebirth, specifically focusing on this message. How can I feed my inner child? How can I feel that unconditional love that I might not have it before? How can I recreate or reconnect with that part of me that I lost? How can I be reborn? So that's what we'll look at. All right, but first let's do a quick review of everything. And if anyone's joined late, you can always watch the entire reading on the replay, but this is also a great way to kind of catch up if you're late to the game here. So the first message that I received, and this was in intuition, was to focus on feeding your inner child with joy, with love, unconditional love especially, and then find a chance to create something new. What's cool with many of you this month is that I can see 3 big opportunities here. The Ace at the center, Ace of Pentacles, 10 of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles. All 3 of these are things that could be giving you a chance to kind of spend your time and energy. And that's what these resource cards are. They don't always have to equate to money. It can be investment of time, investment of love, investment of energy. And that's what we see here with this 4 of Pentacles, which to me is reading foundational. What are my quote unquote tent poles? Where do I want my the walls and ceiling to be in my life? How am I going to set up my life and what is important to me? Because again, for many of you, there is this 10 of Pentacles, which is almost overshadowing everything. It's your father, it's your mother, it's your ancestors, it's your coworkers, it's your teachers. And part of what you're doing this month is finding you, amidst all of this love, but sometimes it's too much, or sometimes it's too constricting. So you've done the requisite work, or you've begun the important path. Either finish it or let it go, as we saw with the Queen here. So whatever stage you're on, just know that you're on that right path, and that there's going to be a point where it's time to release. I think for many of you, it is this month, so that's good news. 5 of Wands reverse tells me that you're ready for it to get easier. You're ready to be a little bit more engaged. As I said, have some fun. I don't think we got any Cups cards. We didn't. 4 of Cups, but to me, that's not a really great card, because it's about missing something or not seeing it. So stay focused on opportunities around you. Don't lose perspective of how far you've come. Remember that, what looks like it's great on the exterior may not actually be. You may be so much better off than you could ever kind of like appreciate. So focus on that perspective. It's going to help quite a bit, and then have some fun. The Moon card, upright, showing power, showing intuition, showing when you connect to that desire, really great things can happen. Some of you are going to have a lot of fun in love this month. This can be a very passionate card. So if there's someone that you've loved, this could be taking that relationship to another level, really kind of just enjoying each other's company. So that's a great thing to come through. One thing I want to say, just to be careful of, is to make sure that you're taking care of yourself, nurturing yourself. And also this month, especially with both of these very, very divine feminine cards, the Empress and the Queen of Pentacles, that you are doing something to develop yourself and to do something that you haven't tried before. And the Fool card is about taking a calculated risk. He's reversed. So one thing that I didn't see initially that I want to mention with respect to health is always to stay focused on whatever the path at hand is. So if you happen to work with highly technical machinery, or if you're walking outside, driving a car, riding a bike, whatever, this is not the time to be necessarily listening to your ear pods, multitasking. You want to be very focused. This can show distraction, and that you don't want to get distracted on any of those tasks. But otherwise, it's also showing the power of having fun and releasing, and it actually feeds back into the Queen of Pentacles and the Empress card. So this helps keep you balanced by having fun, by getting out there, by exercising, by taking risks. One thing that I want to show with this particular Empress card is you're moving away from the sort of like the old ways of thinking. We're looking at an older woman here, and the younger woman's on top, and it's sort of like pulling that inner child, that old version of yourself, moving away from someone in your life that may not be able to let you kind of do what you want. You're finding, I really do believe the soul is eternal, and that's what we see with the energy of this Empress. So owning that eternal self, that eternal soul, not being tethered by age, experience, money, etc., getting back and just feeling like I am divinely created, and I'm on this path, I'm going to own it, and I'm never too old, I'm never too young. There's illusions on this card, and I feel like we're seeing that duality broken down here. For health, it's important to move, as we saw. Also, your ability to wear down people in your life is not to be underestimated. I guess that's an interesting message, but I would say that if someone in your life is stubborn, like a father figure or a mother figure or a boss, you can actually keep working at what you want and keep repeating that message to a point that they actually could see your point of view. But I do think movement was the main message that I got for health. And for wealth, make sure that whatever you're doing actually makes you feel satisfied, satiated. When I see food in work, some of you may be working in the culinary arts, but mostly I'm seeing, does it feed you? Is it healthy? Is it toxic? You really want to be taking a look at that kind of stuff. For love, there are opportunities for bringing in partnerships, but the chemistry has to be there, so don't fake it. Give it the time to develop naturally. And for some of you, it's going to be really easy. For some of you, you're going to walk away. So just don't fake it is the one thing that I would say there. And ultimately, the whole purpose this month is to bring you into a place of more happiness, more satisfaction, and getting that sense that I can, I will, I am able to do this right now. So some beautiful messages coming through for your sign this month. Again, before I even started, I could see that a lot of this had to do with healing, and you have an abundance of opportunities this month, more than I saw in most signs. So the most important thing is the heart space, I think. So I'd like to now take a look at the meditation portion, but before we get into that, I want to see what we can meditate on, how I can help you with finding inner joy, finding inner love, etc. So let's go ahead now and see past influences to this. So this will be maybe in the past, what it is that you can work on releasing, or what the biggest influence was that's kind of either blocking or lifting you up. So we have the Two of Wands in reverse, and it's interesting with this. If you look at this particular Two of Wands, the normal Two of Wands would be you kind of holding the wands and looking at what you want. With this one, it's actually someone telling you what you want, telling you what they want, pushing their vision on you. Can you kind of see how this person is pushing those on top of someone and kind of not allowing them to imagine? So I think one of the things that you could do is to, it's like breaking free from a spell or an illusion, and kind of like almost think of it as popping a bubble. It looks like it's there, but once you pop the bubble, you can see through it. And it was just someone kind of pulling a veil or pushing out their own vision over top of you. So the first thing that you can do is to let go of someone else's vision, version, or archetype of what you needed to be. That wasn't you to start with, and it doesn't have to be you unless you've grown to love it. But even then, I still want to kind of get back to who you were. There was a piece of you that has been fighting that aspect. The other piece is that you could just be more open with being who you are. Don't fight who you are. Just letting go, a little bit of a release. All right, present opportunities. This will help with the Four of Cups card that we saw. What might you be missing? What could you be embracing? So we have the Nine of Swords, and it's interesting. I want to look closely at this. This Nine of Swords also shows competing interests. It's the only card that I've ever seen in the Nine of Swords that actually I think has two different people in it. There might be one other one, but this one is, again, I think it has to do with letting go of a codependency in your life. One thing that I will say with the Nine of Swords, of all of the Swords cards, there are two that are easy to deal with. I think the Two of Swords is indecision. For me, the Nine of Swords has to do a lot of times with transparency and knowing what you want, and just kind of like not being afraid to go after your dreams, because it can come up when you have a hard time going to sleep at night and you're thinking about all of these things that you need to be doing, or you're afraid of what people will think. But usually fear is the piece that holds you from going forward. It's not a really strong card. It's a very emotional card, but you can break the energy of the Nine of Swords, because I wrote about this in a book that hopefully I will publish this year, but I gave fear a persona, and I think it can take any sort of shape or personality, and all you have to do is kind of take the energy back and say, I'm not afraid of you anymore. I'm not afraid of who I am or you're only as big as I let you be. So you're going to basically shrink fear, and that's something that we'll work on doing during the meditation as well. Finally, where can you go? The Tower. But this is a really fun Tower card and a beautiful one. The Tower is about building something brand new, new foundations, exciting new things, change. What we're doing today is the Tower. So I think that for you, there's a chance that I can be anything that I want to be. I'm going to take TNT to this old version of myself and just have some fun. So I think that we all have to have these moments in our life where this can be a move, a new job, a new relationship, or a decision that I don't want to do this, I want to do this. That can be the Tower. But guess what? Everything that we've been doing today, especially with this card, it's a decision-based Tower. So when you get to decide that you're doing it, it doesn't have to sort of make you feel like the world is falling from underneath you. It can be an exhilarating thing where you're pushed forward by the sort of, it's like, I talk about a supernova sometimes, right? So our galaxy is basically created from the remains of a previous sun and galaxy. So in the dust, you can create something even better than what you had before. And I think that's what we see there. So let's meditate. Let's spend some time working on these things that we talked about, and hopefully giving you a chance to feel free to let go of some of these shackles from the past, and to have this supernova moment at the end and really spread your wings like we saw here with this card here. Okay, so for those of you that can join in, please do. This is a powerful part of the what I offer. But if not, you can watch this on replay, and you can always, if you like this, rewatch it too. It works both ways. So please close your eyes now, relax, and I would like you to focus first on the feeling of being safe. So find a location that you like. I wrote down earlier that I thought it would be nice to be at the mountain. So maybe imagine yourself midway through a hike, You can see the peak of the mountain on the top of the hill. You can see how far you've come. I want you to stop for a moment and kind of look out at what I'm seeing as beautiful rolling green hills. And you can see this path, and it's been winding. It hasn't always been a straight path. It's been difficult. You've taken some interesting turns, but you've learned a lot. And just take a moment right now to look at the scenery and think to yourself, you know, I did pretty good considering. That wasn't a straight path, and I had to really sort of like fight my way to where I'm at, almost like the Nine of Wands. You're a survivor. So take a deep breath and feel that inner strength. Really feel it going into your third chakra. So as you're sitting on the ground, let's do a few things to ground you first. Take your hands and create a circle in the dirt around you. Just like you were at the beach, you could see this circle. And even in your meditation, close your eyes, put your face towards the sun so that you're not having to squint your eyes or anything. Just feel the warmth and radiance as the sun shines down upon you, and see that it's kind of creating this perfect disc that aligns with the circle that you made. Almost as if you're one of the ancient deities that would ride on a star chariot on a Vimana on this beautiful disc of light. So you can feel this warmth and radiance beneath you. You can feel the earth also, and you can also feel the sun above you. So you have light above, light below, you have earth beneath you, and you just feel completely safe. And you start to then allow for the energy from the sun, which it might even help to see it directly overhead so that you can see the two circles above you and below you, and just start to accept energy on each and every chakra so that eventually it comes to a connection point. Either it's your heart, or I think we could even cheat it a little bit and go to the third chakra, the solar plexus. Makes a lot of sense since we're working with sun energy. And I want you to find your inner sun, your inner power. You have the moon, we saw it. Let's find the sun for you. Take a nice deep breath and feel that that part of your body, you're right around your belly button, starts to become bright and warm and suffused with light, so that if you were to look at yourself, all you would see actually is this beautiful bright light around you. You could barely make out the shape of your body. You would just see this light, and it's coming out from your stomach. And for a moment, you could even come out of your body and look back at yourself and truly see who you are. See how far you've become. See the beauty that you have within you. And I want you to express some heartfelt expression of unconditional love. Something akin to, you are beautiful, you are strong, you're smart, you deserve to be happy. You don't have to change who you are to make other people happy. And no matter what they think to yourself, this would be the way you would say it: I'm enough for me. I have exactly what I need to be happy, to be successful. And I choose moving forward to only bring people into my life that can see me for me. I'm not going to hold myself back. I'm not going to mute my light. And with the next breath, and we really want to breathe deeply together, 2 or 3 breaths, I really want you to kind of pump that navel area a bit. Later, you can look up something called the breath of fire to help with this. But for now, just really breathe deeply and pull the light from the sun and that disc of light that we created beneath you into your belly so that your inner sun can shine. Inhale. Exhale, let go of fear, doubt, and uncertainty. Really push the energy out. Inhale. Give yourself permission to be happy, to be strong, to stand tall, to shine. On the exhale, imagine that you're actually starting to have your own moment of a supernova, pushing away people, places, and things that are holding you back, taking away the shackles, the chains, the doubt, the anger, the frustration, the lack of imagination, all of these things that are making you less of who you are. And now I want you to start to assemble things in your life that matter. Look back at these, I'm going to look at the cards and help you with what we saw in past, present, and future. If there was someone in your life that took who you wanted to be and locked it away, go within your heart or within your solar plexus, put your hand in there and come out with this beautiful key. It's going to be a key of light. And I want you to take that key and hold it against your heart and know that you are now going to be able to unlock the potential that was stolen. Place it on your heart, take a deep breath, feel that the key melts into your heart so that your passion, your desire, your inner knowledge is going to be able to simply unlock that by knowing who you are. The knowing is enough. The knowing will be the key. Inhale. Let it go. Take your hands and open up a figurative door, window, gate, chain fence, whatever, and let go of that Nine of Swords energy that you're afraid of showing yourself. It could also be a curtain, just like the Wizard of Oz. Just show who you are. You don't have to be something that you're not. You're perfect the way you are. Tear down whatever it is that is not allowing people to see you. And yes, it may be a little uncomfortable. Yes, you may feel uncertain, but in this moment, you also feel more authentic than you might have felt in years or in decades. And now see the energy around your solar plexus, right around your belly button, shine so brightly that you are the brightest star in the sky. Nothing else can eclipse your energy right now. And one more time, if you need to, you can experience the energy of another supernova where you're having a tower moment, but a tower moment that's going to create something of your own creation, breaking free of the chains of your parents, of your ancestors, of your past life karma, of any sort of fear or uncertainty that you've brought into your life. You're having a moment where you don't have to be held back by anything other than your own imagination. So dream big, think big, think about anything and think, I can do this. Nice deep breath and allow for that rebirth to happen. And I think it's kind of hard to hug yourself. So what I would say, just take your hands, take your left hand, put it on your heart, you're right on top of that. And I want you to just imagine that you could energetically give yourself a hug. And you're also seeing yourself now as a newborn. You're going to say the things that maybe your parents, your aunts, your uncles, your teachers never said. And you're just going to say, you're going to be just fine. You're everything that I could hope for. I just want you to be happy. And let yourself go. Let yourself be. Let yourself not have to kind of meet any other expectations other than to be authentic, than to be you. And just imagine in your mind's eye, if you want to kind of meditate on some sort of a maternal energy, it could be something like the Mother Mary. It could be something divine in your religion. It could be just you holding yourself as a baby saying, we did this. Look how far we came. It was a weird path, but as you kind of take a look around, you realize you're at the top of the mountain. This meditation has actually brought you to the top of the mountain. You can see the path that you've come from, and now you see a new path in front of you. It's going to be easier now because you're going downhill and you have momentum, you have wisdom, and you're going to be able to enjoy this part of the journey. So one last deep breath, really owning who you are and seeing yourself as a divine agent of change, as the sun, as a maternal energy, as a creator. All of these things are you. Inhale. Gently open your eyes on the exhale. Good. I'm so happy that I was able to help you facilitate that kind of healing. And I want to leave you with the idea that this can be easier than you thought. Change starts with an idea, and then it really kicks off with just taking a first step forward. So I just want you to take that risk, to fly, to spread your wings. And we saw that really nicely here in this understanding card. Understand yourself, even if other people don't. That's what it's about. Like self-understanding, self-appreciation, all of that is really, really key. I want to take a moment just to say how you can connect with me across social media. And then I will close up here in just a moment. First of all, I want to thank anybody that's taken a moment to do a super chat. I do appreciate those stickers and those comments. I saw a few that came through. I typically don't do Q&A here. I saw a question about that. I am approaching quickly the 200,000 subscriber mark. So once that happens, I think what I'll do is open it up to questions from channel members and patrons and anyone that's kind of contributed. So more to come on that. But this isn't a Q&A. This is just a chance to connect live, to meditate live, and to allow me to get these out in a quicker way. But I want to thank anybody that's done a super chat, because I will send a special thank you after this is posted. A great resource for seeing past, present, and future videos, news, updates, etc. is my website. And my moderators have put the link out, but it's nice to have an old school reminder there. So it's nicholasashbaugh.com. And my name, Nicholas Ashbaugh, is where you can find me at YouTube, Patreon, and Facebook. As I said, Facebook is a great place to go for all of those little reminders. So, the next 2 videos will be up on my Facebook story after I go live today. So great place to see that. Likewise with Instagram. I'm very close to a point where I can actually put links in. So if you haven't liked me and you do follow me on Instagram, make sure that you go through and actually do an official like on the page itself so that I get enough followers that I can put links in. Join me on Twitter as well. All of these places I'll put updates. And finally, you can also do PayPal if you prefer something more direct. It's paypal.me/Nicholas Ashbaugh. And again, I know that Maria and Ryan have put links to that as we've been talking. So for any of you that have participated and supported me, thank you so much. This is kind of like public radio. I depend on your support to continue doing what I'm doing. So I do appreciate you. So hopefully you enjoyed the meditation. And I want to remind you this month how much power you have to move the needle forward and do something exciting. Thank you so much for being present today. And I wish you all the best in February. And if you haven't taken a look at the manifestation video, please do that now. It's on my site. And it's also on the main YouTube page for my channel. And that goes a little bit more into what manifestation is, how it works, how you can do it. When the video goes on replay, I'll put it as one of the cards in the video, okay? In the meantime, wishing you much love and light. I'll see you all soon. I'll be back tomorrow for 2 additional readings. So again, follow me on social media to see who I'm reading for and what time. And until then, take care of yourselves and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.